In the heart of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, where streets remember the rumble of cannon fire and the hills once echoed with the cries of the dying, stands a striking colonial home. Built in 1776, the Dobbin House is the oldest structure in town, its thick stone walls having weathered the Revolutionary War, the rise of a nation, and the bloodshed of its near undoing. It was the home of Reverend Alexander Dobbin, a Presbyterian minister from Ireland who envisioned a sanctuary for both the mind and the soul. Here, he raised a family and opened a classical school for boys, the first of its kind west of the Susquehanna River. But the Reverend's ambitions stretched beyond education. He was a community leader and a vocal advocate for independence. Yet the Reverend could not have foreseen the horrors that would one day unfold on his doorstep. Today we take a look at the Dobbin House, the oldest building in Gettysburg, with a rich history spanning 2.5 centuries. This building saw the birth of a nation, the war that preserved the Union, and cared for the dying who fought in one of the greatest battles waged on American soil. Soil soaked with the blood of the wounded and dying, who some say still inhabit this treasured building. So if you're curious, let's take a walk through history. Alexander Dobin was born in Londonderry, Ireland, on February 4, 1742. He married Isabella Gamble of County Down, Ireland, in July of 1772, and together they had 10 children. Dobbin studied theology in Glasgow and Edinburgh, and was ordained on May 8, 1773, to accompany Reverend Matthew Lind as a missionary to America. Shortly after his arrival in this country, Dobbin settled as pastor of a congregation at Rock Creek, near where Gettysburg, Pennsylvania now stands, although that town was not in existence until several years after his settlement. In fact, it's rumored that Dobbin himself is somewhat responsible for the naming of the town Gettysburg. It seems Dobbin was filling out a marriage license, and as a nod to his close friend James Geddes, listed the location of the wedding as Geddestown. Dobbin built his 2-story Georgian-style stone house on 300 acres, sitting strategically atop a natural spring, making it the first house with indoor water access. It served as a school and a gathering place for important religious and political meetings. His wife Isabella passed away on August 19, 1800. 1 year later, the Reverend married the widow of David Agnew. Her name was Mary Irvin, and she had 9 children of her own. This Brady Bunch version of the Dobbin family all lived here, in the Dobbin House. In October of 1908, while on his way to church in Gettysburg, Dobbin ruptured a blood vessel by coughing and became unable to preach. He died in his home on June 1, 1809, from quick consumption, an aggressive form of tuberculosis. As was lawful in the 1800s, the house did not pass to his widow, but instead was inherited by his eldest son Matthew. Matthew was an abolitionist who built an addition onto the house and hid a 3-foot crawl space between the first and second floor, confirming his role as a conductor on the Underground Railroad. As the years progressed, the house was sold several times, finally ending up in the hands of Henry Heck. But Heck didn't live here. He rented the house to John and Elvira Ziegler and their 5 children. These were the occupants of the house, when the Confederate Army arrived in Gettysburg. In July of 1863, the serene streets of Gettysburg erupted into chaos as Union and Confederate troops collided in what would become the bloodiest battle of the Civil War. The Dobbin House sat mere footsteps from the front lines. Gunfire shattered its windows, shells shook its foundations, and after the thunder faded, the wounded began to pour in. The dining room became a surgery room, the basement a morgue. Limbs were piled like firewood, and blood soaked the floorboards. Some say it still does. Today, the Dobbin House is an inn and a tavern, dressed in colonial charm with candlelit tables and the scent of hearth-cooked meals wafting through its halls. But beneath the warmth lies something colder. The inn's reputation as one of Gettysburg's most haunted locations is not without reason. Staff often report doors that open and close with no breeze to blame, dishes that crash in empty kitchens, and candles that refuse to stay lit. There's the sensation of someone just behind you, fingers brushing your shoulder, only to turn and find no one there. And then there are the voices. Guests speak of hearing the giggles of unseen children running down the staircase at night. Sometimes it's a whisper in the dark, a boy calling for his brother, or the sing-song rhyme of a little girl who never made it to adulthood. Some believe these echoes belong to the Dobbin children. Others wonder if they're the spirits of long-forgotten students, left behind in the shadow of their old schoolhouse. A woman in a blue gown is said to glide silently through the upstairs hallways. She doesn't speak, but those who see her describe a heavy sadness clinging to her like a veil. Perhaps she was a nurse tending the wounded, or a mother whose child never returned from the fields. She's most often spotted near the bedrooms, pausing, as if searching for someone who's no longer there. Downstairs, the moaning of an injured Union soldier has been reported more than once. He wanders near the basement stairs where surgeons once labored into the night. Guests who pass through this area describe sudden nausea, a crushing sense of grief, and cold spots that seem to move with intent. Sometimes faint bloodstains appear on the floorboards in the early morning, only to vanish when the sun rises. But the most chilling encounter belongs to the shadows that never made it to daylight. A guest once stumbled upon the entrance to the old hiding space, the rumored underground railroad chamber, and felt compelled to explore. Crawling through the narrow passage, they felt a sudden breath against their neck, hot and ragged. Turning, they saw a tear-streaked face staring back, wide eyes full of fear, before it vanished into the darkness. That night, the guest was jolted awake by a weight pressing against their chest. Paralyzed, they could only listen as a whisper brushed against their ear. "Keep moving. They're coming." Some say it's the ghost of a fugitive who didn't make it to freedom. Others believe it's a warning left behind by someone who did. Occasionally, visitors catch the faint scent of cigar smoke in empty rooms. A sign, they say, that Reverend Dobbin himself is nearby. Perhaps he's watching over the place he built with hope. Or perhaps, like so many others tied to this house, he can't quite let go. The Dobbin House Inn stands today as a piece of living history, a restaurant, a museum, a memorial. But step lightly if you go. Not all the guests are from this century, and not all the stories end when the lights go out. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time as we explore more curious history. Take care.